Hi again, everybody. I'm Jamie Allison, and this is the Big Idea, Big Moves podcast. This is the destination for high performers. We talk to people from different genres, just people doing really interesting things in their space. We talk to lots of athletes, lots of CEOs, entrepreneurs. We've talked to scientists, lots of different people, just again, doing interesting things that we can find out a little bit about their journey and some of the experiences they have and things that we might be able to translate into our own lives as well. So I know I have one of those today. Just before we jump into that interview, you know that we have a relationship with Epitome Sportswear if you've been listening to the podcast for a little while. And you probably also know that they really link well with us because they talk a little bit about kind of whole life and how you can kind of utilize those things. So it's not just kind of performance clothing and things like that. It's stuff that would be comfortable just going to maybe your son or daughter's soccer game or going for a hike now that here in we're in Canada, so the weather's getting a little nicer right now to be able to go out and do some of those things. So, so take a look at it, see if it makes sense for you. There's a discount code if you go to our Instagram profile and look through there, or you can go directly to epitomesportswear.com. And just remember that they give back to the community they serve as well. So they're working to impact the inequities in opportunity for girls and women in sport. And for that reason, a portion of their profits go directly to organizations and initiatives that support girls in sports. So that's kind of cool as well. So I have Andrea Berlin-Schwartz with me today. She's a certified health coach, a personal trainer, nutrition specialist, fitness instructor, and yoga instructor. She's a fitness entrepreneur who has her own app as well and is a passionate advocate for empowering women to discover their true potential and realize their goals. And as a healthy lifestyle coach, she works to kind of integrate all those things we talked about, movement, mindfulness, nutrition, and self-care as well into kind of a holistic approach, all while being a busy mom and all those other things too. So first of all, thanks very much for taking the time out of your day with us, Andrea.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, well, the pleasure's ours because I know, I've seen lots of stuff about kind of your background and what you do, and it fits really nicely with the people that listen to our podcast. So maybe first of all, you've been in the fitness industry and the kind of health and wellness industry for a while. I'm sure that as like your approach has probably evolved over the time that, you've been doing that as your own journey kind of evolves. So tell us a little bit about, how you got here to what you're doing now, but maybe just kind of track us along that way a little bit.
Okay, well, it's funny. I've been in this space for 30 years,
Yeah.
so it has totally evolved from when I started 30 years ago, wearing thong leotards and
Yeah.
step aerobics, and it's completely evolved and changed. And I have evolved and changed with it, of course. But I actually started. I was not in the fitness space 30 before this. I was actually a fashion major in college.
Yeah.
Got burnt out. Found fitness as a way to help that, and fell in love with it. And that was it. I was hooked. And I started at a gym, a women's only gym,
Hmm.
and I just started teaching. I found mentors there who are still my mentors today. And I started teaching right away, fell in love with it, got certified as a fitness instructor first. And that was the hardest thing I think I've ever done. I'm not a great test taker, and it was a proctored exam, and I was all nervous, but I studied, and so I became a certified fitness instructor, and I taught, and I just immersed myself in health and fitness.
Yeah.
And then I became a personal trainer, and I worked for this gym, and I worked in the group fitness department. We even opened another gym, and I helped with that fitness department. And then that became my life.
Yeah.
And even my babies grew up in the gym. And so they grew up seeing their mom, teach aerobics. I mean, I taught step until I couldn't see the step anymore. I was so pregnant.
Yeah.
But, and I went through a lot of health issues getting pregnant. So that again was a whole nother aspect of why I became a health coach,
Yeah.
because of all the fertility issues and hormones. So then I started diving into the health coaching, became certified for health coaching and nutrition, and then started getting into the hormones and the women's fitness. And it
Yeah.
just all snowballed. And I just became so incredibly immersed in that. And I I just keep educating myself and learning, and I'm always taking new courses to continue to educate myself so I can just keep helping women just understand our bodies, because as we age, and it's funny because all my clients have grown with me. I've had the same
Yeah.
clients for 30 years. So
Yeah.
as we went through our babies and our kids growing up, we all went through the same um, emotions and feelings and
Sure.
things that so now I'm focusing on women through menopause and
Yeah.
um, hormones and gut health, and
Yeah.
where are we now, and how are we supposed to deal with our bodies now. And so I just try to educate myself in
Yeah.
all the different changes of how health and wellness is changing for women,
Yeah.
and how we growing, when we have our kids, we're always putting ourselves on the back burner,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not taking care of ourselves. So when the kids grow up and now we can finally fill our cups and
Yeah.
take care of ourselves, and then bam, you're hit with menopause.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Finally starts to
okay,
feel like everything's going to go okay. And
good,
then,
right.
yeah,
So
a new wrench, right?
that's exactly, so that's how I take that holistic approach
Yeah.
with mindfulness and
Well,
um
that's a question that I have, Andrea, because I think a lot of people make the connection easily or more easily between direct kind of exercise and fitness and wellness, and that's easier for some people. The other side would be understanding, it's I think a lot harder for people to understand how important mindfulness and that connection is in their kind of overall health. I mean, do you find that first of all, and how do you help people kind of grasp that and understand how important it is?
yeah, a lot of people think, oh, that it's not going to help me. I don't understand how that helps me. I'm not going to meditate. I can't sit still. I have a monkey mind. I can't. And how is that supposed to help me? But it's amazing how just closing your eyes, even for 30 seconds to 1 minute, can
Hmm.
bring down your cortisol levels and calm your body. And when you do that, everything down to a cellular level just calms your entire body. And people really just don't understand how impactful meditation and mindfulness practices can be.
Yeah.
Yoga and journaling, and people don't make the time for it, and it really is so extremely important.
So that's a question then, because I'm sure you have to talk through it with your clients, but even yourself. I mean, um, you've got your probably your own kind of fitness and health and all those things, and then you do all of the work that's attached with that, and you have family and all of those things. How do you approach balancing those things as much as you can? Like, how do you do that, and then how do you again help other people do that?
Well, I have gotten my family so involved in health and fitness that they do a lot of it with me.
Hmm.
And now that they're older, my kids are older. I have a 20, almost 26-year-old son, and I have 22-year-old twins.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and it was crazy. Believe me, growing up, having these kids, and I mean, having a toddler and twins, and trying to, luckily for me, it was my job, so I could take them with me. They
Sure.
went in childcare. I taught my classes, but for moms who didn't have that option, um, it was a lot harder for them. But, luckily back then, nothing was online.
Hmm.
So a lot of them came to me, and you put them down for a nap, and I know it's easier said than done, but if you could just squeeze in 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there and 10 minutes there, it doesn't matter. You don't have to do an hour at a time. It's just these little nuggets of whenever you can fit something in, it really does make a big impact on your health and wellness. And and then as the kids grow up, they really loved working out because they saw
Mhm.
their mommy doing it, and
Yeah.
they do it with me. And we go outside and we do yoga together, or I have a little gym in my basement. We go downstairs and we lift weights together, or we sit and we just meditate for a few minutes. And we're always cooking healthy dinners together. So it's
Mhm.
really important to get your family involved, get your kids involved, have them grow up and have them chop some vegetables, obviously with a little, easy, not with a
Yeah.
big knife,
Yeah.
but have them get involved with dinner time, and get them started from an early age. And it makes it so much easier for just to have a healthy family.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I would assume, I mean, it helps with the balance part of it, but it also helps with how they're growing up and kind of, what they value moving forward, I guess, as adults when they move on too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I'm wondering is that you talk a lot. I mean, you really focus now on helping women through kind of the special challenges, I guess, that they would have at that age and as they approach menopause and as they kind of go through even just changes that aging brings, and that's both men and women, I guess, at the same time. So, um,
Well,
uh, how um, uh, how important is that for your approach now? I guess like does it how does it change? How does it change um, in what you suggest to people than maybe it did when you were kind of at the a different stage in life too? And how do you change how people at certain life stages approach fitness and wellness and all those things?
yes. Well, I'm 54,
Yeah,
and when women get into their 40s and 50s, we just cannot work out the way we did in our 20s and 30s. It just
sure.
doesn't work like that. Um, when you work out that hard, your cortisol levels rise, and it's a stress on your body, which is good, at that time. But when you get older, too much stress, um, it, at this age, our cortisol levels we can't, we just can't work out like that. So
Hmm.
at this age and stage in our lives, we need more weightlifting. We
Hmm.
need more protein. We try to walk more. We do need cardiovascular fitness for sure, but we just can't do the on the elliptical for an hour
Yeah,
anymore, or taking those long you know classes anymore. You just have to be gentler on your body and kinder to your body.
yeah,
um, and we need to add flexibility and balance, and because we need to take care of our bones, and we lose muscle mass, and
hmm,
we got to do that weight bearing activity. And because when you get older and you're losing that bone density, if you cannot fall. So we need
yeah,
to take care of our bones. You got to practice the balance. You got to practice the flexibility to take care of your muscles and your bones,
yeah,
and then you got to change up, the nutrition too. So it's, the protein and the anti-inflammatory foods and certain, supplements, and even, talking to your doctor about, you know, the hormones. So it's a
mhm,
whole different ball game.
yeah, yeah. Well, and so do you find people? Well, I mean, I'll say that I think that's a struggle as you age. I mean, I'm in the same boat where you have that, and it's I would wonder how many people struggle with the fact that, oh, I used to be able to do this, and now I suddenly feel I can't do it the same way. And is that part of the mental kind of approach or mindset change that has to happen as well? Because I think that you have to come to grips with a little some of the things that you just shouldn't be doing something maybe the way that you used to, because you might hurt yourself or you might do something, that isn't beneficial anymore.
Absolutely. I think that might be the hardest thing
Hmm.
for women because we we're so used to doing things a certain way. And I think that's where the whole mindfulness piece comes in. So we do have to change our mindset. And the way to do that is through practicing meditation and journaling. I think journaling is great. There's something called morning pages that I was taught. And when you wake up in the morning and it's kind of like a brain dump in the morning.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
kind of, you can either do it in the morning or at night. And it really just helps you kind of get rid of, you know, what is bothering you
Yeah.
and coming to terms with, you know, helping you with that mindset change. And then I really think what's really important too is sleeping, getting really good sleep. And that's really hard when you get older
Mm-hmm.
uh, with all these changes. So that's another thing. At night, breathing exercises are great to help with that. And even doing just like a little uh, sun salutation at night before bed or in the morning before you get out of bed, just breathing or doing some stretches in bed before you get out. And it's just the little things, like little tweaks that you
Hmm.
can do to change that mindset and help yourself to you know handle those rocky roads. And it's kind of like little pebbles across a stream. You just have to kind of
Yeah,
take
little
those little
course
pebbles.
corrections, little things that,
Exactly.
yeah, make the bigger change. So,
Yeah.
um, how do you look at, I mean, and I don't know if it's changed now, but when you set goals for yourself, like do you find yourself setting goals the same way that you have before, or what do I mean, you've got an app now, you've got a bunch of things like how do you approach that yourself, and not just from, I'm sure you have some fitness goals or things that you want to do from that standpoint, but just generally, how do you do that yourself?
Well, it's funny, my goals have totally changed because menopause hit me like a ton of bricks.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I had to totally course correct with that. I mean, it was really, really tough for me. Because I could, it was really hard. So when I set my goals, I write them down. There's something called SMART goals, and
Mhm.
I so I do write them down. They have to be time relevant. You want to set like you know uh a time period. You want to make I small goals. So I write everything down. I journal everything. I write everything down. And I feel like if you write it down, it's so much easier for you to attain it
Mhm.
or achieve it. And um, so I do. I write it down. Every morning I meditate and I make I set little intentions for the day. So instead of huge goals, it's little. You wake up in the morning and I set little intentions. Okay, I'm going to get this done today. And if I don't, it's okay. There's
Mhm.
always tomorrow. And I try not to beat myself up anymore. I try to be kinder to myself. And I think a lot of women are very, very hard on themselves. And I think we just need to be kinder and gentler to ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, that's great advice. And you mentioned you had mentors that have kind of helped you along through this process, but all the things that you've kind of done from that end. Um, uh, do you find you look to a couple of very specific people, or is it, you take things from a whole bunch of people? What's that like for you?
I do have very specific mentors. I've had two mentors from way back when that I still look up to
Hmm.
from the gym, um, who are very near and dear to my heart. And I have new mentors um, so I that helped me through, my business. And
Hmm.
so I have old and I have new, and uh, Lynn Brick and Aaron Kelly, who are from way back when, have just, I mean, I wouldn't be where I am now without them.
Yeah.
Um, Lynn and Victor Brick, who they own the gyms that I started in, and they're just,
Yeah.
I mean, they're all family to me, and they're just fantastic. And two of my other mentors who have just helped me grow and flourish and help me in the space that more of the entrepreneur that was just really hard for me, because that just wasn't, I was just in the health and the nutrition and the fitness,
Yeah.
and I didn't really know, any of the business. The app was the hardest thing for me to
Hmm.
start, but they gave me the courage and the push. And I owe that to James Patrick and Jana Short, and
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
just fantastic.
Yeah, and you're so being an entrepreneur, that was the one thing that I was going to ask you about, because I think you hear that a lot, is that, people, I mean, jumping into entrepreneurship and some of those things can be scary regardless, but it's sometimes different, depending on what background you're coming from. And is there something that jumps out to you? Wow, this was the scariest part for me, or the part that I didn't realize it was going to be as difficult as it was. Is there something that stands out for you that way?
Yeah, it all stands out. It's still scary to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. The technology for me is so difficult. And when I started in this, after COVID and everybody went online, and my kids are
Yeah.
like, Mom, you have to go online. And I'm like, I don't know how.
Yeah.
So they helped me start my Instagram, and I really got into that. I thought that was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then, they try to teach me, and then I try to teach myself, and it takes me a really long time to learn things. I'm just a slow kind of learner with the whole technology stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just, that's not me. But I did my whole app by myself,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was it was, I think, the hardest thing I've ever done, but I'm really, really proud of it.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's just, it's so from my heart and my passion, and I threw everything into it, and it's my purpose. And in yoga, there's something called your dharma, and um, that's your life's purpose. And this is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to help people live their best, most healthiest, happiest lives. And in my app, I have it all. I have, fitness. I have coaching videos on there. You can text me and talk to me, and I'll get back to you. And there's community and recipes, and it's just really, really fun. And it's something that I always wanted to do, and I was really scared to do it. I mean, it just wasn't me. I was really scared, but I did it, and I was proud of myself. And I do owe a lot of people um, who gave me the courage to do it, and I'm really happy I did.
Yeah.
And I just want to help people. I want to help people live their best lives and be healthy, because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And really, when they say health is wealth, it's true. And a lot of, I written a quote for a book about that, and health and wealth and relationships, because people don't realize that relationships are so important to your health as well.
Hmm.
And so all that really is so important. It's not just nutrition, it's not just fitness, it's not even just mindfulness, it's everything. It's your connections, and your heart and your mind. I mean, it really is. It's just a whole package.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I find it interesting that, you're really afraid of kind of doing that thing, and you take so much away from it. I mean, sometimes the biggest and kind of most gratifying accomplishments are the ones that, are most difficult to do and end up getting you to a much higher place, I guess, at the end of it as well. So, um,
Sure.
what would people who know you, because you probably have, well, you mentioned even a lot of your clients you've had them for a very long time.
Hmm.
Um, is there something that like if what would people find surprising about you that they might not know?
That I was a college athlete.
Oh, that would be surprising to them?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I played lacrosse in college because I went to a fashion school.
Oh, I guess that's true. I guess that's true. Maybe that would be if they, depending on how they knew you, I guess, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, so one thing that we always do is and we've had lots of things here, and I know that there's lots of things to come, but if we go back, one of the most important things we talked about is trying to find ways to be able to be a little more mindful. And sometimes people can find that's the most difficult thing, especially if you've got busy people, lots of things going on. They have kids, they have, work, all those things. Do you have any suggestions where people can kind of just a couple of things they could do to at least, bring in more mindfulness practice or more awareness in their mindset throughout the day?
Absolutely. The first thing I think you should do before you even hop out of bed, seriously, is close your eyes. Don't hit the snooze button. Turn it off. The alarm goes off, turn it off. Don't hit the snooze button. Close your eyes and breathe and set an intention for the day. Just set, it can be small, it can be anything, it could be an affirmation, whatever it is. It could be something as small as I'm going to have a great day, or I'm beautiful. Something that's going to make you feel good.
Hmm.
And then take a couple stretches, take a deep breath, and get out of bed, and then go outside and get some sunlight. Get some sunlight in your eyes. It helps set your circadian rhythms,
Hmm.
and it just makes you feel so good. And then walk barefoot in the grass and get a little grounding. And that's just, and just breathe and just feel the sun on your face and close your eyes and breathe. And then drink a big glass of water. And then you're ready for your day. And then throughout the day, just take little breaks, little 30-second to 1 minute breaks, close your eyes and breathe. And I think that's really important because everyone is so busy, running, and your cortisol levels are blah, 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 blah. And you just need to, you don't have to meditate for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You just have to close your eyes and breathe
Yeah.
just for a few seconds.
Well, and
And
I find that's the interesting thing is that these things are like none of these take much time. Like they don't take a
mm-mm.
lot of time because that's what people always say is that I just don't have time to do some of this stuff. All those things you're suggesting don't take a lot of time to do.
No, they don't. And there's great apps. I have meditation on my apps.
Hmm.
I've got quick, there you can do quick little stretches, quick little yoga sun salutations, but it doesn't have to be, you know, 60 minutes, or
Yeah.
it could be just little nuggets here and there. And I always like to keep a notebook with me and just jot down things. Just, if you're having a bad day or if you're having a good day, or just write things down. I think it's so great to just, even ideas or anything, just write it down. I think it's great to just empty your mind.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to get a good night's sleep if you can.
Yeah.
If you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can, or at least as much of it as you can. And if you
As
can't
much
one
as
day,
you
then work
can.
on it the next day. So,
Right, right. Make a nice bedtime routine, take a
yeah.
nice shower, don't be on your laptop at, a couple hours before bed.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's great advice, and I think people will take a lot away from the mindfulness piece as well, because I think that's it's something that's very doable, but a lot of people don't intentionally think about kind of what they do from that end. So that's great advice. And if people want to follow you, what you're doing, and maybe take a look at your app and things like that, what are some of the best ways to do that, Andrea?
Well, I have my on my Instagram is at Andrea Berlin-Schwartz,
Hmm.
and I have a link tree on there. It has all my links on there. My app is on there. Um, my website has it all too. It's
Yeah.
www.andreaberlinschwartz.com. Everything's pretty much my name, so you can find me
Okay.
that way. There is a link for my app. But it's a very strange link. So the best way to get that is through my Instagram
Okay.
or my website.
Yeah, and what we'll do as well is we'll put links in the show notes. So if you're listening to this and didn't catch that right away, just look in the show notes. The links will be there as well, and then people can check out kind of all of the additional information about you and follow you on Instagram and everything too. So again, thank you very much for taking the time with us today, Andrea. Really appreciate you being able to share so much knowledge with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, and thanks for coming again. And to everybody else, if you haven't hit subscribe on the podcast, do that now. We have great people every week, just like Andrea. And yeah, we'll talk again soon on Big
Great.
Idea,
Thank
Big
you.
Moves. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much.